Welcome to Hare Krishna Valley. Is anyone here for the first time? Very good. Thank you for coming. Nice to have you all here. This is a place of peace, of prosperity, of normality compared to the outside world. I mean, our haircuts are a little bit strange and we dress differently, but the behavior is normal. In the outside world, I don't know, is this like a fair statement that the world's a little bit mixed up at this point in time? Is that a reasonable thing to say? Like everyone agrees, that's good. So, when you come here, you see how human society is meant to live, where there's respect for people and for animals and for plants and for all life forms. After lunch, we'll go and visit our cows. We have some beautiful sacred cows, which are on the other side of the farm. And it is an ahimsa dairy, which means it's one of the only places in Australia where people come and they can see cows that are born here and they die here and they don't have any fear of death because they just live naturally. Just like human beings, we like to live naturally. Right? We don't like to die. We just like to live without fear like that. So cows are the same. Animals are the same. Plants are the same as well. They don't like to unnecessarily die. So here is a place where we show these principles for people so they can understand the way to live. This place is where we dedicate ourselves to spiritual activity. Just like that dancing and chanting we just did. Did anyone enjoy that dancing and chanting? Yeah, it was quite nice. It felt like there was something there, like a spiritual vibration there. Because the sound vibration is a fully spiritual sound. And we started doing this dancing and chanting at 5 o'clock this morning. That's when we first came together and we did this. And then we did it again at 7 o'clock. And then we're doing it again at 12:30. That's why they call us the Hare Krishnas. Because whenever you see us, we're chanting. Like that. If you come here during the day, usually we're out in the paddock somewhere just chanting off into the distance. Not really, but, but we do it a lot. We do chant a lot. Because it's the way of connecting ourselves to Krishna, to the universe, to God, however you like to describe it, to higher power. It's made of spiritual sound, which is made of the names of Krishna, the names of the divine. And when we chant that, we become spiritually connected and we feel spiritually blissful within ourselves. That's why people sometimes say Hare Krishna, people look happy. I don't know if it's true or not, because I'm a Hare Krishna, so I'm a little biased, but people say we look happy. So that is because we are connected to higher power, and through that we have a deeper sense of satisfaction in our hearts, our minds. So once a month we have an open day like this where people can come and you can see what we do and hear our philosophy and ask questions and see the lifestyle of how we live like that. So does anyone have any questions that you would like to ask a member of the Hare Krishna movement about the meaning of life, the universe, everything, or anything at all? We can give our perspective on it, like a spiritual perspective. So if anyone has anything you'd like to ask them, please. Okay. Yes, sir.
Why do we become addicted to the substance? It's probably an easy question, but why do you think we become addicted?
Addicted to?
Anything, drugs, alcohol.
Substances.
Yeah, substances.
Substances, yeah. It's because of a sense of disconnection. That's why we come. Because they did an experiment with rats, and they put rats in a cage, with like a maze and like that. And then they had water available for the rats to drink, and they had water which was laced with. Oh, you got it now. They had water which was laced with heroin or cocaine or something like that. So what they did, they put a group of rats in the cage, and then they did a second experiment where they just put one rat by itself in isolation in the cage. So the rat that was in isolation kept going to the laced water to take that because it was obviously feeling disconnected. And interesting, the rats which were in the other cage, although they had been in that cage previously and were taking the drug, even though they're in the cage where the drug was still available, because they were in a social situation with their fellow rats, they didn't take it. They just stuck on the water. So the simple why we taking any substance because of a sense of disconnection. And we're feeling emptiness inside, and we're trying to fulfill it with something external. And nothing external can fulfill us. You know, the happiness has to become within, it has to become from meaningful relationships. So what we teach here at Hare Krishna Valley is to have meaningful relationships. You know, we actually care about each other. It's a genuine care, and primarily, the main relationship we cultivate is with Krishna, with God, like that. He's the bluish boy you see in all the pictures. So we feel that when we're connected to Him with love and devotion, we dedicate our activities to Him, then we feel complete within, and then other relationships become meaningful. Otherwise, other relationships may also feel superficial, disconnected. Because sometimes you can be with a whole lot of people, but you also feel disconnected even while with them. Because there's not like a deeper essence to the relationship. You know, otherwise you just go to bars and parties and everyone just talks. I'm trying to be nice. I haven't been to a bar or a party for 30 years, but can you help me? Can you give me a word to describe?
Talk shit.
Huh?
Talk shit.
Well, I can't say that. I can't say that in the temple.
Nothing meaningful.
Rubbish.
Nothing meaningful.
Rubbish, thank you, rubbish.
Rubbish.
They talk rubbish. Is that a fair statement? Quite often you got to blame everyone just talking rubbish. Like that. I was going to say waffle. Whatever.
Sorry, you'll have to edit that.
But we get the point, right? So even you can be in places, but like everyone's just talking things, you just think, what are we talking about? You know, what's this actually? Like sometimes, I mean, I live out here now, but I used to live in Albert Park near our temple, and I get the tram into the city. We go and chant on the streets in the city, and I get the tram. And I did that for years, and I just remember some of the conversations. I was just thinking, what are people talking about? It's like, just like there's no substance or depth to it, and you know. So unless you get that substance, that depth, even if you have a social setting, you may feel disconnected also. So our advice is that you put Krishna in the center, put spirituality in the center, and form meaning relationships based on a spiritual bond, and especially with the higher power, the higher source. And then you won't feel that necessity to take other things. Many. Oh, you're back. Thanks, man. I know. This guy's a professional musician. He's played with some of the top musicians on the planet. So he knows how to get microphones working. So it's not working. It's not working. It's working. It's working. Thanks, man. Thanks, Ace. You're always there for me when my microphone stops. Okay. Can you all hear me now? Yeah, you can hear me before. But
Yeah.
some people say they find it a little difficult there at the back, so that's why we use the mic. So yeah, that's the reason. That's why people have this disconnection. And I know many people who took to this spiritual path that I took to. I wasn't addicted to anything before I became, involved in this, but I know a number of people who were. And as I described earlier, when you get a genuine spiritual path and a genuine spiritual satisfaction, you can give up your addictions, which you may have had for years, overnight. I've seen many people do that. Many people living on this farm, when they just made a decision, and overnight they just years and years of substance abuse, just gave it up and never went back to it once. And I know for myself, I wasn't addicted to things, but I used to drink alcohol and things sometimes. And since I've been practicing this spiritual path, I've never once even thought of it. I've never thought, it's hotter like a cold beer or something like that. Just never think of it. Because it's detrimental to the consciousness. These things. Alcohol is actually a depressant. They market it differently. There's marketed like, drink this, you'll be really happy. But it's not that, it's the opposite thing. There's like an initial kind of alteration, but then it just goes boom. And most of the drugs are like that, most of them. So then it's like it's a trap or a trick, like that. And because we have weak government in the Western civilization, they allow these things to be within society. They could take it out. It's not that difficult. I mean, it's difficult, but they could do it. It's possible to do it. In Romania, which is an Eastern European country, up until the 1980s, there were no drugs in Romania because the government, that was their principle, no drugs, and just there wasn't any in society because they were like that. But, you know, as we know, you know, I mean, in America, the CIA are actually the ones trafficking the drugs. So then that becomes very difficult when you've got the government sponsoring the system. Yeah, they'll put you in jail superficially and say, oh, you know, you're doing the wrong thing, but then they're trafficking it on the other side like that. So when you've got this kind of situation, it's difficult. So we have to not fall into the trap. That's the point. The trap's there, the trap is set, but don't fall into it. Be smart enough to see it's a trap and just walk around it. That's what we do. You know, I can go anywhere. I can go into a bar, I can go into... I went through Crown Casino a couple of years ago just to see what it was like. I'd never been in there. Just to experience like the vibration. You know, and I walked in and, you know, everyone's like, you know, they're all addicted to poker machines, addicted to and taking, you know, all sorts of crazy stuff going on in there. But, you know, for someone like us, we just walk through and, like, we're separate from it. I just wanted to see what was going on, like, you know, study. So just to see where society's vibration is at. And in that particular place, it's not good. And I saw a news headline last week that they've just broken a sex trafficking ring in Crown Casino itself. So even in Melbourne, we've got crazy stuff going on. You know, you don't even have to go overseas anymore. We bring it all to you. And what do? We teach people the opposite. Walk around the trap. Walk around Crown Casino. Stay on the river. And chant and look at the river. And be happy. Like that. And go to Gopal's, go to the vegetarian restaurant in Swanston Street. Say no to drugs. Nancy Reagan said, 1984, say no to drugs. She's my guru. I say no to drugs. God bless Nancy. Say no to drugs. So, yeah, that's what I do. Say no. And like as we've been discussing over the weekend, it comes down to mind power. You know, if you have control of the mind, if your mind's strong, you can say no to anything. It's not difficult. You know, anyone could offer me anything, or any of us anything, like, you know, drugs or anything, which is no problem, because we're satisfied within. So there's no temptation even. So you have to develop the power of the mind. Right? And when it becomes strong and powerful, it's easy. You can stay on track. Otherwise, you won't reach your goal. You know, like you know the story of Jason and the Argonauts. You know, they're going through. It's a Greek mythology, Greek mythological. So they're sailing the boat past the islands of the Sirens. You've heard of that? That's where we get the word siren, like that. You know, like a. No? So the Sirens were mermaids who would stay on the rocks near these islands, and as the sailors would go past, they would speak very mystical words to attract the sailors towards them. So the sailors would see these beautiful girls on the rocks, you know, mermaids, and they would speak very beautifully, and they'd become bewildered, and then they would crash the boats, and then the mermaids, the Sirens, would eat them. So it was a trap. So in our spiritual life, we have to understand when these temptations are there, and we have to make ourselves very strong and very fixed so we can pass through without being attracted. Otherwise, you know, the sailors go past, they see the beautiful mermaid, and they go crash on the rocks, then your life's on the rocks. Oh. My guru is Jason and the Argonauts. So that we get lessons from all these old things, all these old stories are meant to give us lessons, how to live. Problem is these days people don't listen to the old stories. Just like the biggest book on the planet for the first half of this year was Jorgen Peterson's book. You know Jorgen Peterson?
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jorgen Peterson. Yeah, Jorgen Peterson. 12 Principles of Life.
Yeah.
It was the biggest selling book on the earth for 6 months. So these are some of the principles that he teaches within his. You have to get control of the mind. Because people don't have control of the mind. Look at society. Everyone doesn't have control of the mind. If you don't have control of the mind, you're going to be all over the place. So you have to learn to control the mind. That's what we teach. Control the mind. That's just the beginning of spiritual life. It's not even the high stuff. If you don't have control of the mind, you can't understand the high stuff. So you have to get control. But modern society doesn't teach us that. Modern society gives us Coca-Cola. And what's the motto of Coca-Cola? Enjoy. Enjoy. Do it and think about it later. Our motto is the opposite. Think about it, then maybe don't do it. So you have to make your choice. In modern society, people just do, enjoy. Just do whatever you want, be whatever you want. Do what you want to do, be what you want to be. What was the next one? Yeah. That's right. Do what you want to do, be what you... That's basically the 60s. Do what you want to do. I was born in 1969. Do what you want to do, be what you want to be. Yeah, that's my birth. Born in that. And then, look at that society. It's just heated, out of control. So you have to learn some control, some discipline, like that, and then you'll be happy. Because if your mind's under control, then you're peaceful, you're happy, satisfied. Like that. What was your question again? I can't remember what your question was. But
Why do we become addicted to substances?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that answer it? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I did remember the question.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes, sir.
So obviously we have a large percentage of the population that's quite disconnected. And so I guess what I'm asking is what sort of advice can you give for, I get approached a lot. If I walk in town or etc. by people kind of really talk to me about their problems and can be quite stressful, and standing my ground is and being patient is basically all I can do. Any advice for I guess, helping people reconnect, but isn't, obviously it's their own decision to what their path is doing, and constantly put in this position where they're trying to come with a story, and after 5 minutes it gets a bit much, and I have to sort of excuse myself.
So what's the question?
The question is, how do I deal with people that are disconnected, trying to project that?
How do you deal with people who are presenting all their problems to you and
Yeah,
like that?
absolutely. Thanks.
You can only take so much, because we all exist on vibration. So if you're around negative vibration all the time, it affects you. So you can only take so much negativity. So, when you're dealing with people who are struggling, we have to give support, but only to the degree that we can support. So if it gets to a point, you might just have to, somehow politely excuse yourself and just say, I'll deal with this, but I can't deal with it all right now, or you may have to refer to other people as well, or like this. So yeah, if you feel if it's too much for you, then you shouldn't deal with it all yourself, because the goal is not that one person is drowning, then they grab the other person, now they're both drowning. So I get a lot of people coming to me. When you become a Hare Krishna, you must walk around with a sign on your back saying counselor or something, because everyone starts coming to you with their problems. Is that on my back or?
Not today.
Not today, yeah. Because people come all the time, because, they want guidance, they want like that. But what I see with a lot of people is that the problems are very much due to self-indulgence. People are too much into their self. So quite often in the beginning I have to shake the person, not necessarily physically, but just shake them a little bit and say, what's actually your problem? At first you have to identify what is your problem. And a lot of the time it's just self-centeredness. It's all about us. If you live your life in that state of consciousness where it's all about you, of course you're going to be unhappy, because that doesn't lead to anything. So, we say to people from the very beginning, your foundation has to be correct. Stop living for yourself. If you've got so many problems and everything, go and start helping other people who've actually got problems. Go down to like one of the, like the
Refuges, shelters.
Yeah, where do they go? Souvenirs. Where would you find them? Down in Kola, for example.
Call it, I don't know, community centre.
Yeah, like a community centre. Go down to the community centre in one of your local towns. Like down in our local town here, we have a lot of Sudanese people. They're refugees that come. So you go and speak to them. They've got problems. Ask them what they've been through. Right? We haven't got problems. There's no one here with the worst things that any of us have been through. And we've been through some heavy stuff, all of us. I've been through some heavy stuff. But compared to any of them, it doesn't rank. Right? So, people these days, I've got this problem, I've got that. Yeah, okay, go and help people who actually got real problems. Like, my internet's not working fast enough. It's too slow. If that's your problem, then all the best.
I think if that's your problem, then you need to live a little bit.
Sorry, I can't hear.
I think if your problem is something to do with the internet, then you need to live a little bit.
Need to.
Live a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just get that, take it out the second story of any building and let it go. Right, that's the best way to deal with that. Or your television, same thing. Just take it out the top story of your 2-story house, drop it, and that's it. That'll solve a lot of your problems. So the point is don't be so self-indulgent. That's really a lot of what's going on.
Referring them to community, them to reconnect.
Yeah, of course. The
That's
answers.
sort of what I suggested, find a yoga studio, but obviously for some of those sort of people, it's not really the first step.
Yeah, well, the point I'm making is people have genuine problems. That's legitimate. That's okay. Like people come to me, they come to you all the time. But we can't drag each other down. And the point I'm making, it's not true in every sense. I mean, some people really have problems. That's genuine and will help. But a lot of the stuff I'm hearing is just self-indulgence. It's all about just me. Like, go out and actually help other people. You still got problems then? Okay, yeah, totally. We'll help you. But don't just be people sit around all day like, go out and do something for someone else. I've got problems, but I don't have time to get overly absorbed in my problems because there's people to help. That's more important. Right? So, and then your problems are vanished. At the end of the day, you said, oh yeah, I did have a problem this morning, but I didn't have time to get to it. No, I'm okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of the times it feels like they just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what sort of state they're in and what their vibration is actually.
So talk to them, make them feel sheltered, make them feel welcome, and sometimes you have to shake a little bit like that. At the end of the day, if you really want to solve your problems, then get a guru. That's actually the answer, if you want a total answer, right? I've had a guru for 30 years, right? And my problems have gone like that. Because if I've got a problem, I just go to my guru, say, please instruct me. He gives instructions. I act on the instructions. Problem's gone. What's the problem? So if you really want a problem, get a guru. Someone who really knows what they're talking about. Sometimes that's hard to find, because a lot of people say they're gurus and they don't actually know what they're talking about either. So. Thank you. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's good. Any other question? Yes, sir.
Why do you think it is that people come to the Hare Krishnas for help and advice? What do you think it is that draws them?
Why do they come here for help and advice? The food's good. Any other questions? Oh, sorry. That's part of it. Prabhupada started the movement. That's Prabhupada over there in the seat of honour. He started the whole thing. He brought it from India in 1965, and he took it all around the world. And when he left the world, he came in 1965 to America, and he left the world in 1977. He came to America when he was 69, so 70 years old. He started the whole Hare Krishna movement, brought transplanted an ancient tradition from India, which had been there for thousands of years, and brought it to the West and transplanted it, and he sent it around the world. And within the 11 years that he was on the planet in the West, he opened 100 temples in most of the countries around the world. Now we have 650 temples all around, internationally, all over the world. We're incredibly international. I think we're in every single country on the planet. I think.
No.
Maybe not. We're not?
No, we're on every continent, but not every single country.
Not every country. There's some countries we're not in. A few of the Middle Eastern countries, they're a little bit oppressive.
Greece and Malta.
Oh, we don't have temples? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we don't have temples in Greece and Malta. And the main reason that is because probably about 99% of the population, they call vegetarian eating lamb. Like if you go to Greece, like vegetarian, it's almost not a word. Seriously. And Malta, like it's probably like 0.1% or something of the population is actually vegetarian. So it's a little hard for us to infiltrate. You say, oh, we're having a vegetarian food. So they say, oh, just lamb. We said, no, vegetarian. And they say, oh, so just chicken or something like that. Then vegetarian means they don't eat cows or something like that. So yeah, there's a couple of countries we haven't fully implanted in. But why do people come to us for help and for guidance? Because we see things from a different perspective to the other world. The answers to life's problems are not based on making material adjustments. In other words, you can't just adjust everything materially and expect to be happier. It doesn't work. You can't just buy a new car. Like you buy a new car, you feel happy for a couple of days because it's new. Like we all like new things. But then after a couple of days, it's a car again. Or you get a new carpet in your lounge room, you think, oh, I've got a new carpet. Then after 3 or 4 days, you don't even notice it. So that can't satisfy you. So material adjustments will not satisfy. So after some time, the reason people come to us, it seems, is because they work out that there needs to be a deeper adjustment. And the adjustment needs to be on the spiritual platform. And that's what we deal with. We deal with spirituality, like on the deepest level. So, yeah, we're becoming more and more popular, more and more people are coming. And, we have answers. And people ask us, and we give guidance. And then if they like it, then they practice it. And if they don't like it, then that's cool. So, does that answer you? Okay. I think it's mainly the food. Prabhupada, the point I was making, he came in 1965, 66 to America, and he actually said in 66, 67, he said they're coming for the food. He said that himself. He said they're coming for the food. That's why the food's always really good. Right? People we do the chanting. They say, oh yeah, that was interesting. Some people say, it's amazing. Some people say, it's interesting. And we have to talk, like I give the talk now. And then people say, yeah, that was interesting. But when everyone has the food, they go, oh, that's amazing. So a lot of people come. So it's a combination of things. Ultimately, most people come for like a spiritual guidance and counseling to answer the actual problems of life. Because what are the actual problems? Why are we here? Where are we going? What is it all about? The bigger questions. We can answer those things. So, any other question?
When people become Hare Krishna, do they give up their other religions, or can they live harmoniously with other religions as a Hare Krishna as well?
Yeah, we have to understand the term religion. The term religion comes from Latin. That's a Latin word, religio. Religio means to reconnect, relink. So that's what religion means. It means to reconnect. These days when we say religion, it doesn't really have that deep connotation. Like most people just think religion just means a group of people who kind of believe in something like that. But the actual essence of the word is to reconnect. That's the essence of it all. So I'm a Hare Krishna. That's my choice. That's what I chose to follow because it has I've always believed in God, but when I came across the Hare Krishna philosophy, the ancient teachings of India, I find that it's it answers the questions that I have to the deepest level. So that's why I follow it. But I still consider myself to be a Christian, a Hindu, a Muslim, and a Jew, and to some degree a Buddhist. You know, because what's the difference? You know, they're just names, but it's all describing the same thing. You know, just like it's like a geographical name, or it's a name. You know, we say, oh, that's that. But if you go to the essence of all the teachings, it's all the same. But the elaboration is different, obviously. You know, so a simple example is if you study maths in primary school, 2 + 2 = 4, and when you go to university and you do a postgraduate degree in mathematics, 2 + 2 still equals 4, but now you're dealing with much more refined and deeper concepts. So in the same way, the reason I follow this particular branch of teachings of the truth is I find it's the most elaborate, and I need elaboration because I have questions. You know, so I used to go to Sunday school, and then I went to church a little bit when I was a teenager. But you know, I said to the priest one time when I was 17, I said, "So can you explain to me about reincarnation?" And he said, "Oh, the Bible says we don't do that." And I said, "Okay." And then he said, "I said, oh, can you tell me about the devil?" And he said, "Well, you know, there's a guy who takes you and he makes you suffer forever." And it's not logical. Why does God create a place where you go forever to suffer forever? It doesn't even make sense. I mean, you wouldn't do that to anyone. I don't think anyone in this room would do that. So why would God himself do that to someone? It doesn't even make sense. So when I got those kind of answers, then I said, okay, I never went back to church again. And then I went to different places. I started reading Eastern philosophy. I studied Buddhism and Baha'i and different things. And when I read Krishna consciousness, the Vedic texts, I found that to be the most elaborate or the deepest explanation of the truth. It's all the same truth, but it just goes much, much deeper like that. And I need that. I need satisfaction. You know, if you just tell me you just got to do it, and then I say why, and you say, well, you know, because that's what we do, that doesn't work for me. So I need like a deeper understanding. So the fact is that I am a Christian. I'm probably more Christian than most people who identify themselves as being Christian are. If you actually look at the teachings, we probably follow it more closely. Right? I'm also a Muslim. I'm also a Jew. So we do all of it. We don't see a difference like that. They're just names like that. It's the same teaching. You know, in Sanskrit, it's called Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma means eternal truth. Like that. So it's eternal. It just comes in different forms according to different times, but it's all the same teaching. But how deep do you want to go? That's the point. Like you're a lawyer, right? So when you study law, you can go further, then you can study further, and there's different types of law, and then you can branch off, and then, you know, like that. So how far do you want to go? That's up to you. You might just want to do the basic study, which is probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or something. That's the basic level. Yeah, and then, you know, if you want to go further and further, you study more. So it's the same thing. If you're happy just with the basic stuff, you know, don't kill, you know, don't steal like that. That's cool. Stay with that. But you know, I need a little bit more in my life. Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good. Any other question?
You said that the Hare Krishnas have lots of answers to your questions about like what the meaning of life is. What would you say the meaning of life is? Like, why are we here?
Why are we here?
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. You want to get deep? Okay. We came to the right place. I mean, that's what we're. So, what's the meaning of life? We have to understand the nature of reality. We're experiencing something right now. Right? That's fair to say, right? Hands up if you're experiencing something right now. Okay, hands up if you're not experiencing something right now. Okay, usually get one person, it's like up the back. Okay. That's good, I've got 100%, so that makes it easy. Okay, so we're all experiencing something right now. The question is, what are we experiencing? Okay, so according to these ancient teachings, which we study and follow, we are the soul. And the soul is different from the body. Does that make sense? Most people understand that. Okay, we're different to the body. So the soul is in a material body. So it means the soul is spiritual, matter is different from spirit. There's two different dynamics. Right? So originally, it is taught that we were in the spiritual world, where the soul, which is spiritual, there's a whole world which is spiritual. In different teachings in the world, they call it different things. Some people call it heaven, or in our teaching, they call it Vaikuntha. There's different names for it. So, but you know what I'm talking about, like the other world. The other world. Most people believe there's something. Hands up if you believe there's something beyond this world. That's pretty good. That's good. So there's something beyond this world. Okay. So at this point in time, it was described that we were in that other world originally, right? And all the pictures, like in our temple, they show Krishna, God. He's a bluish cowherd boy. In our teachings, he's a young person. He's 16, and he's very cool. And he likes to have fun and enjoy himself. I mean, if you were God, just for a minute, or any of us, what age would you choose? If you could choose any age. Anyone can answer. 17? Okay. What would you choose? If you could choose an age, you could just stop, that's what I'm going to be forever. What would you choose?
16 is pretty good.
16 is pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah. 16, it's a pretty good age, because if you analyse 16, around that time, you're starting to become aware of a lot of stuff, but you're still quite playful. So you kind of like, it's kind of an interesting kind of age. So that's where he is eternally. He's 16. And all of us who live with him are mostly that kind of age. Whereas if you go to the Sistine Chapel, did someone bring a dog?
Yeah.
Someone brought a dog? If you have a dog, maybe please go and see your dog at this point in time, because sometimes dogs don't get along. We actually have a policy here, no dogs, because this happens. They come, and then if the dogs don't get along, then the dog like that. So if you go to the Sistine Chapel in Italy, Michelangelo, when he painted God, he's like kind of an old white man. Old man, he's got long white hair, and he's got robes, and he looks very powerful and strong. So that's the way that they interpret him, because obviously he's old, he's ancient, and he's very wise. Like that. So he is all those things. He's old, he's ancient, he's wise. But then why have an old body? Be old, ancient, and have a young body. So that's Krishna. He's the most wise, he's the most ancient, but he's also youthful. Like that. So we were living with it, this is what's described in our teachings. We were living with him, but the reason he created us is because it's boring to do things by yourself. Yeah, a little bit of time by yourself is good. I like to have time by myself every day. Just be by myself, just like, that's it. I don't want to be like that for my whole life. I'd hate to be stuck on an island somewhere just by myself. It'd be terrible. So why does he create people? Because he wants to have fun. He wants to enjoy himself. You've got to dance with someone. Dance by yourself, it's just not as fun. Just dance around the room like for a couple of hours, and afterwards, it's not really happening. I need some people. So that's why you see in the pictures he's dancing with his friends, because he has much more fun when he's dancing with his friends. So we were with him, but he doesn't want to force anyone to love him. If you force someone to love you, that's not love. You have to love him. Right? It doesn't work. Right? So he gives up all of us free choice. Right? We're created by him, but we all have free choice. Like I have free choice. I can walk out that door, that door, that door, or that door. Or I can climb through the window. Or I can start digging through the concrete for 20 years. It's like, I've got choices how to get out of this room. So we've all got choices. So he gave us the choice whether or not to love him or not love him. Right? And obviously, all of us chose to have a we didn't want to totally forget him, but we just wanted like a bit of space to be a little bit away from him. So that's what happened. We kind of moved away like that. So there's two worlds. There's that world and there's this world that we're in now, we're experiencing now. And our soul has left that world and gone into a material body and lives in a material world. So what was the question? What is the purpose of life? Well, yeah, the purpose of life. So the purpose is to serve Krishna, serve God, because we were doing that and we were happy. But then we thought we'd have a little bit of space, and now we've ended up here. And it's not necessarily working out the best for us. Like that. You're nodding, so you probably understand what I'm talking about. How old are you now?
20.
20, yeah. I was 19 when I became a monk. So it took me 19 years to work it all out. It's not working. Some people need more time. You know, but it's not perfect here. Hands up if your life is perfect. Perfectly happy and satisfied. Anyone? Bueller, one lady, thank you. Yeah, I usually get one, so it's good. Love it. So most of us, we don't feel like that. Completely happy, completely satisfied. And that is because, as we're explaining, we are spiritual, and the soul can only be satisfied by spirit on the spiritual platform, in the spiritual world, with Krishna, with God. So that's the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to get back to Him. And what's the main way to get back to Him? By serving Him. And we've been discussing that this weekend. It's called devotional service or bhakti yoga, connecting to Him through love and devotion. And the main way to do that is the chanting, which we did before. Where we absorb ourselves in chanting His names, become conscious of Him, and then we begin to... And Krishna says in the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, have you heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. It's one of our main books. Like that. So it's in the shop, just at the back there. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 8th chapter, it says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam. So it means, whatever you remember at the time of death, that's where you'll go. So if you remember Krishna or God, then you can go back to Him. If you remember something else, that's where you'll go. So it's very, very important how we live our lives. Because how you live your life and what you become attached to, that's what you'll think of when you die. Whatever you're most attached to. So be very careful what you choose. For myself, I'm trying to choose Krishna. Because otherwise, you know, we could take birth anywhere in this world. You could become a dog in Sweden. Might be okay. Might not. We could become a dog in India. That's a different ballgame. No? You have to understand the word dog. If you go to India, you understand what a dog is. Here they get served, or they live in 5-star luxury. Otherwise, you go to India, it's just they're on the street. People hit them and chase them. It's horrible. So, different things. So we have to be careful how we live. Because if we perform bad karma, you understand karma, what karma is. So if we perform bad karma, then you can go anywhere in your next life. If you don't live properly, you can go. So if we eat meat and do all these things which cause violence to others, in our next life we may have to go into a situation where we receive all of those karmas. So it's very important how we live. So the Hare Krishna movement, that's extending your question, why do people come to us? To get guidance how to live. Because mostly people are good in this world. Mostly. Some people, it's only a small population of people who are very selfish and exploitive. Right? Most people are good, generally. So, although people are good, they haven't been trained or taught how to live properly. The first thing we would do if we, had the power of the government, we would just not make everyone, but close all the abattoirs and all of the places where they kill the animals, and just say to everyone, it's all vegetarian now. All the restaurants are vegetarian. All the supermarkets are vegetarian. You want to eat meat? You go and do it yourself. Go out the back. Make it fair as well. Do it with your teeth. Make it fair for the animal. Like, you want to live like a tiger, you act like a tiger. Do it properly. We're going to give you a knife and then see how much meat you want to eat. You're vegan or? Okay, so yeah. Sorry to shock you. So this is why. Because people, they live like that and then they expect, oh, you know, I want to be peaceful and happy in this way. You can't be peaceful and happy if you don't treat other living entities properly. So that's what we teach people, how to live properly in this world. You know, so you can avoid your karma, you can become Krishna conscious, you go back. And then you do away with all of your problems. Because what are your problems? You have problems, right? I presume, because you're normal, so you have problems. So what are your problems? Your problems that you're living in the material world. Go out to the spiritual world, there's no more problems, right? In the spiritual world, everything's free. I mean, can you imagine being somewhere where everything's free? Right? You never have to pay for anything ever again. Does it sound good? Yeah, it's like working for Google. You know, Google cafeterias, everything's free. So, you know, everything's free. And there's no taxes. No one gets old, no one dies, no one is born, there's no diseases, right? Everyone just plays continuously. Yeah, that's where I want to go. I don't want to come back here. Do you want to work in Collins Street for the rest of your life? You know, do you want to stay in this world for the rest of our lives? Yeah. You want to live in Geelong for the rest of your life? Even Torquay? Like that. These places cannot satisfy us. So that's basic. Does that answer your question? Yeah. That's the basic answer. Any other questions?
So, your knowledge, I guess, and to keep it simple, as in what is the sun, and if there's time, you know, what's the moon, what's the...
So what's the question?
What is the sun? What is it?
What is the sun?
Yeah, is it just like a bright orb in the sky, or you know, does the Vedics say much about what the sun is, and where the sun comes from?
Well, everything comes from Krishna, from God.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. We're creationists. Yeah, we don't believe there was a big bang, cosmic explosion. Yeah, we don't believe that. We believe that, you know, Krishna just went and it all worked in order. If you look at the order of the universe, it's perfect. All the planets spin perfectly, right? The sun came, you know, a couple of 100 kilometers closer to us or further away, the Earth would be massively changed, right? So everything, who set it up that everything was so perfect? All the order, you know, we can calculate to the second in 1,000 years from now what time the sun will rise, and you know, who set up such a perfect clock? Like that clock, you know, always slows down, right? It's because it's made by man, right? So it goes around, then every 10 days you've got to move it, you know, because it's lost a couple of minutes. That clock doesn't change, so it's perfect. You know, who designed that? Who developed it? It didn't happen from a bang. You know, go and blow something up. You know, blow up this iPhone, just blow it, and then it explodes, and then it all falls back and goes zoom, and it's just like the perfect iPhone. You know, when was the last time you saw an explosion just come back to perfect order? So the universe is perfect order, which happened from an explosion. It doesn't even make sense. So we're creation. Something obviously created it. We say Krishna, but there's some super intelligence which created that. So what is the sun? The sun is a planet. It's a very important planet because heat and light comes from the sun, and we need heat and light to live. So yeah, it's a planet. And the moon's a planet. And, so. Any other question? Yes, madam.
Do you think that if there's anyone that is looking for, I guess, ultimately happiness, or not necessarily the meaning of life, but what they do with their life, do you think practicing your belief in Krishna is what's going to make someone happy, or do you think that just ultimately living, like doing things that make you happy is what you should do?
I would say you need a spiritual underpinning to your life to make you fully satisfied. Because like you say, if you just live just to make yourself happy, like that. But everyone's doing that in the world. How's it working? I said to everyone before, hands up if you're perfectly happy. No one put their hand up. So, things that just make you happy. What makes you happy? For everyone, it's different, right? So for some people, it's like Geelong winning the AFL Grand Final. There's a lot of people, that's probably the top 3 of their list in life that will make them happy this year, 2019, if Geelong wins the AFL. Right? So, if that's going to make you happy, chances are it might happen, it might not happen. And if it does happen, is that going to make you completely satisfied? Is it going to satisfy your soul, like the deepest part of you, like that? Without having, in our opinion, without having like a spiritual connection to Krishna, to God himself, you're not going to be completely satisfied. Everything else you'll still feel empty, like I said, I was 19 when I became a monk. I remember like 6 months before that, I used to wake up in the morning and just look at the roof and just think, what's it about? My life wasn't bad. It was like, I had a nice life, but I was still just thinking, is that it? It's got to be more to this. That's why I started reading all the books and trying to work it all out. Now I feel happy and satisfied. Like I feel complete. So everyone has to go on their own journey like that. But I would say you need a spiritual element to your life. If you don't have that, you're not going to feel satisfied. And like I said before, it's just a matter of all the teachings are the same, basically. The essence is the same. But it just depends how much elaboration you want. I want to know everything. That's the way I am. I want to know everything. I don't just want to know a little bit and then, don't just want to do this on once a week on Sunday for 1 hour. I want to live my life like that. And I feel the most completely satisfied. And the food's really good. Like, I walked in the Hare Krishna temple in 1989, sat down and had lunch. And then, amazing lunch. Like, we're going to serve lunch to you in a few minutes. Like, amazing lunch, right? So I ate it. And I ate it, right? So I ate it. And then they said, you want some more? I said, yeah. So I gave her some more and I ate it. And they said, you want some more? I said, yeah. Like 3, like kind of big plates of that. And I still remember to this day, I had camphor sweet rice. Like milk and rice cooked with sugar, and they put camphor in it. And I thought, what is this, man? The most amazing thing I've ever tasted. And I said, what do you have to do to live here? And it's like, this place is amazing. And they said, shave your head. And I said, yeah, no problem. I said, you got to wear like robes and dance down the street. I said, no problem. Just give me that camphor sweet rice, I'll do anything. So that's the point. The point is that it's a meaningful existence, but it's also materially pleasurable. Like our food's the best. Like, we can say, I can honestly say the Hare Krishna food's the best. If anyone can prove that you find something that's better to eat, I'll go there and I'll live there. It's the best food. So, even in this world, like everything we experience, it's such a nice life, like that. And then on top of that, we have like a deep spiritual satisfaction as well. So it's fantastic. And Prabhupada, who's our founder, who started the whole thing, he said, even if Krishna is not God, it's still the best way to live. And that's true. Like our life's that's very nice. It's a nice way to live. It's not perfect because we're in this world, but it's just such a nice way to live. And if Krishna's God, that's just like the ultimate bonus. You go and live in a place where you have picnics forever and live next to rivers and dance and sing and herd cows. I'll do it. Hands up if you'd like to just herd cows through the fields forever. Have picnics on the banks of rivers and it's awesome. That's what we're offering. Right? So, if you live as a Hare Krishna, it's really cool. And if you get all that, it's super cool. All right, so that's why I do it. Any other question? Did you put your hand up? Nice.
I was going to say something stupid.
Okay, don't want to say it now?
You said the better food, I was going to say KFC, compared to KFC.
Yeah.
Not say that.
Yeah, that was stupid. Yeah, we can certify that. Certified. Stupid. Any other points? Questions? Okay. Is anyone hungry? Yes. Okay, one person. We'll see the rest of you next time. Excellent. If you would like something to eat, just go into the next room, and then we'll serve a nice feast. And then after the feast, if you'd like to go and visit our cows, our special cows, it's very beautiful. They're all down on the other side. So after lunch, just meet us here, and we'll go down and we'll visit them. If you'd like to give a donation, just leave it in the donation box. And if you would like a free magazine, this tells you all about the Hare Krishna movement. It's just here. You can come and take it. That's free. So, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
See you all next time.
Hare Krishna.